Well, after this movie, I can definitely say for sure Hot Fuzz is my least favorite Edgar Wright film. Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And it's time to finish this up by reviewing Last Night in Soho. So a little background. Um, when this came out last year, I had no interest. Didn't want anything to do with it. Nothing. Didn't care. Saw the trailers. Didn't care. Didn't seem like something for me. But after it came out, I kept seeing people talking about this film, and even in uh, like lists from last year, it was in top tens, and I was like, really, this movie's that good? And then it came out on Blu-ray, and I bought it, but I didn't watch it. I just bought it, and it was sitting on the shelf. Then I decided to do this Edgar Wright review series, and I knew that eventually I was gonna have to watch it anyway. So, you know, I don't know. What intrigued me was Matt Smith being in it. That was very interesting. And I like Anya Taylor-Joy and like Split and stuff like that. And yeah. So the story here is that Ellie is an aspiring fashion designer, fashion student. Wants to be a fashion designer. She goes from her place in Bumfuck, England to London, big London, to try to make it big, to go to school there and go into fashion. She moves into a dorm, but that doesn't work out. She ends up renting a room from this elderly lady and living there, and she starts to have visions of a woman named Sandy in the 1960s. Their dreams, visions, whatever. She's living through this person in the 1960s, meeting a man, and slowly finding out that not everything is as good as it would seem in 1960s London, and what begins a sort of mystery to figure out what happened to this Sandy, and the horrors of what happened start to seep. The horrific life of this woman just starts to seep into her life and create chaos in her head and everything. And it's honestly something I didn't think Edgar Wright was capable of, to be honest. So, watching through these movies, I will say that it really shows how versatile Edgar Wright really is. As you start out and you see, okay, he can do comedy, right? Shaun the Dead, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, all great comedies. They have good comedy in them, with some seriousness. But then you get to Baby Driver, and that's one of the most serious. That's the most serious he's gotten at that point. There's just some comedy in there, but it's also serious. And this is completely serious. And I've actually heard some criticisms against it. Oh, Edgar Wright is known for comedy. There's no comedy in this. I don't know. It's too serious. I'm like, you kind of need it to be serious for this. I don't hold it against Edgar Wright at all. I think this was great. And I think he did a very good job with this film. The style, it kind of a giallo type thing. There's lots of red lights, and just the colors and everything. And there's this one scene I want to talk about because Edgar Wright mentioned it in that video I watched where he breaks down scenes. It's a scene in which Matt Smith's character Jack is dancing with Sandy, Anya Taylor-Joy's character, and during the scene it swaps in and out between Sandy and Ellie, between the two actresses. Edgar Wright says there was no cuts. The actresses would dip in and out of frame to do the dance moves, and you can tell that that's what's happening, and it's fantastic. And again, they had both of the actors on the screen at the same time. When you see like uh, Ellie's reflection in the mirror, or vice versa, and they're on the screen together, it's not a mirror; it's like a cutout, and she's standing there. It's done very well. I do want to point out that Matt Smith, who's my second favorite Doctor in Doctor Who, by the way, he was the 11th Doctor, in case you don't know. Uh, and I'd like to think that this was done on purpose, that it wasn't just ironic. Because, Edgar Wright is British, and Doctor Who is big in the UK. So there's a scene in which Matt Smith's Jack is making out with Sandy in a phone box. That can't be a coincidence. That can't be a coincidence. So I saw that, I'm like, they're in a phone box. No, you were winking at me, Edgar Wright. You were winking. I refuse to believe that was a coincidence. No. Okay. Yeah. So, I could take you through the plot. I guess I will, but I will point out that I did like the style, the way the colors flare in. There's this where she's sleeping in this bedroom, and there's that, you sometimes you have like a sign outside your room that flashes different colors, and that adds to it when she's laying there. And again, much like with Baby Driver and other movies, the music he has works very well with it. And I think the actresses and the actors, they do a great job. And this is something I didn't think of until one of the reviews I mentioned. This is the first female-led movie Edgar Wright has done. And I think he picked the right actresses for this. I think they did a great job. They're fantastic. I think all the other actors in this were good. The only real criticism I have, and the more I thought about it, the more like with reviews about it, the more I thought about it. The twist. Alright? So during this film, Ellie sees back to Sadie's past. And we're led to believe that it's the ghost of Sandy, not Sadie, Sandy, trying to tell her what happened to her. And we see a vision of her getting murdered by Jack. And so we're led to believe that she wants her killer brought to justice. During a couple of parts of this film, we see Terrence Stamp. And we're led to believe he is the older Jack. However, it's revealed that he's actually Lindsay, a cop who tried to get Sandy out of it. Tried to tell her to get out of there. She didn't listen. So so what happened to Jack? Is he out there somewhere still? What's going on? Well, it's not so cut and dry. And at first I thought about, what a coincidence that she so happens to be living in the place. So it's revealed that the old woman she's renting from, Miss Collins, is actually Sandy. Sandy's still alive. She murdered Jack and the men that she was subjected to. It turns out that this is one of those cases, and you could say this was Edgar Wright's commentary on the whole Weinstein thing about, you want to make it, you gotta sleep with me to get big type thing that they did, and all the whole Me Too stuff or whatever it was called. Not Me Too. Whatever it was. I know it's not Me Too. That's not right. I don't know what it was called. The whole conspiracy with the Harvey Weinstein and everything. I'll give you the role if you sleep with me, that kind of thing. And it goes back to that. He'd say he's kind of commentating it. And it's one thing I see about Edgar Wright's movies. He likes to put commentaries in this film. But he does it in a way that it doesn't feel like he's preaching to you. He's just giving you his point of view on the situation, or telling a story. He's not saying, hey, this. No, he's just telling a story, unlike other things, other movies. that would do it, like Black Christmas 2019, stuff like that, or the Slumber Party Massacre remake. You know, uh, it's done very well. But yeah, so it's revealed that Sandy is the old lady. She killed Jack and the other people, and I guess what she saw was just a point of view or something. It's never really explained why she saw Sandy murdered, but it is revealed later that these visions of these men are actually the victims, and they're trying to help her, trying to tell her to go after Sandy, to kill Sandy. So I'm guessing what she saw was what they wanted to happen, what should have happened. She should have died. And now, here's the thing, it's hard to pick a side with this because, Ellie herself says that the men deserved it, and in a way they did. Now, it's presented to us, and if Edgar Wright presents this side of London, side of society, in a very well done way. Basically, Jack was pimping out Sandy to these men, but we don't see a bunch of sex scenes or, gratuitous nudity or anything like that. Edgar Wright does a very good job of just selling it as she's being schmoozed to these men. Like, she has different names, she's constantly getting drunk to deal with it, that sort of thing, until she snaps. But yeah, it's done very well. She's basically being prostituted out to these people until she's had enough. And yes, what they did was not right. Did they deserve to die for it? In my opinion, no. They deserve to go to jail. But, as it proves, who knows how long it would have been before this was found out. By then, who knows how many of these women would have fallen prey to it. We've seen there's a shot where Sandy goes in the back and there's all these women buckling under pressure. They're doing drugs, someone ODs. Who knows how many times it's already been done before Sandy. So, yeah, I don't know if they exactly deserve to die. They deserve to go to jail and pay for it, but I don't know. Death is always the easy way out, it seems to me, but who knows. And then it's presented as they wanted her to die because she killed all of them, but Ellie takes her side, Sandy's side, saying that they all deserved it. I don't know, it's very touchy because, like, in the end, she basically, Sandy doesn't want to deal with it. Like, she was trying to poison Ellie, but there's a scuffle, which is done in transition. You see the younger version as well, and there's a fight, and then she realizes that, yeah, she sees the ghost of Jack slaps her in the face, and she's like, yes, I've done this, and it's enough. And she tries to cut her own throat, but Ellie stops her. But this place is on fire because she knocked a lit cigarette into the record bin, and the whole place is on fire, and she just allows herself to be engulfed by the flames. We'll assume that she's dead. And yeah, her and the boyfriend I haven't mentioned yet, the guy that she meets, John, they end up like together, I guess. It's, who knows, undetermined amount of time later, she's actually doing the fashion thing. This is another kind of negative, is that, like, maybe we're supposed to think that her, this whole thing, we see that the picture of her mom is burning and her fashion stuff, and we think, okay, now she's going to move on from the 60s, move away from the past and look into the future, but then we see her fashion, whatever you call it, her fashion expose, or whatever you call it, expo, whatever, and it's still 60s stuff. I mean, her hair's not blonde anymore because she dyed her hair blonde to look like Sandy, but I don't know. You think this is about moving away from the past, but she's still doing the 60s thing. and then she sees the vision of her mom, which I didn't catch until Foundflix mentioned it, but it's always when something good is going to happen or has happened that her mom pops up. And we see her at the beginning when she gets, we see a vision of her at the beginning when she gets accepted into fashion school, and then she's not there for the entire rest of the film until this when she has her fashion thing. So this means, nothing good has happened till now, finding something good. Then we see a vision of Sandy in the mirror, and I don't know what that means. And I also agree with Foundflix. I'm going to give the credit to him because he's the one that said this. And the more I thought about it, the more he's right. I think it would have made more sense if Sandy was dead instead of being the one who killed all the men. And she's trying to figure out, Ellie's trying to figure out who killed her. Like, what happened. That should have been more. I don't know. The twist is kind of head scratching to me. Like, I understand that these men most likely deserve what they got, I guess. Like I said, jail time, they deserve to live out their punishments, but, death is, killing someone is always the easy way out. They deserve to live with their punishment, live with what they've done. And, But I don't know. Maybe Sandy should have died. Trying to figure out. I don't know. But I gotta say, it was one thing with Edgar Wright's films. They're not bad. They're not terrible. And none of them are under a certain score. And that is to say that, much like most of his filmography, save for two, Last Night in Soho is pretty good. I've done it. I finished it. I got a ranking to do. That'll be out at some point. But what are your thoughts on Last Night in Soho? Let me know comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. I'll see you in the next one.